Is there hope for humanity? If hope exists, does that mean Pandora's box has been opened? Because hope is at the bottom of Pandora's box. But since hope dies last, does that mean we all have to die for hope to come out of the box? Welcome to a new video. I hope it will teach you something new, or give you a different perspective on things. What happens when a country's money gets frozen or immobilized? We'll start this story with this video.
To talk about the frozen and immobilized Russian assets, and maybe it is important to underline first and foremost that Belgium does not want to see €1 of that money returned to Russia. The philosophy has always been, and that's normal if you talk about immobilized assets, which are sovereign assets, it's central bank money. We're not talking about the frozen assets, to be very clear, because I noticed that there is a lot of mix-ups and a lot of colleagues mix these terms up, which you shouldn't do, because legally everything you do and everything you say is of course of utmost importance. Frozen assets belong to diverse beneficiaries and are not at play here. We're talking about the immobilized assets, the sovereign assets, the central bank money.
So Russia's foreign exchange reserves are not frozen, but immobilized. What are frozen assets? Simply put, when a company goes bankrupt or a person dies, their accounts are blocked, frozen, until a court decides who the ultimate beneficiaries of those assets are. Immobilized assets are.
During the Second World War, this did not happen. Immobilized money is immune. It's like an embassy. You don't touch it. You don't use it.
But what are foreign exchange reserves? How are they created? Does the US have its foreign exchange reserves deposited in banks around the world? Let's say in Russia or China. Or does the EU? Let's create our own small foreign exchange reserves to see what it's all about, shall we? We will create simulation in which the imaginary state has no foreign exchange reserves and needs to create its first foreign exchange reserves. GDP determines the amount of money printed that circulate in their market, and it is 100% local currency. We will show this through a simple diagram for visualization purposes. In order to create foreign exchange reserves, the state have to acquire a certain amount of internationally accepted foreign currency. The simplest way to acquire foreign currency is to sell some of their manufactured goods on the international market. For this simulation, they sell goods worth 1% of domestic GDP. Our diagram now looks like this. We now have our first amount of foreign exchange reserves, right? No, the funds belong to the legal entity that sold its product on the international market. Since foreign currency cannot be used in the local market, the legal entity exchanges its foreign currency for local currency. And our diagram looks like this. Great, we sold goods worth 1% of our GDP and received 2%. It was a joke. We transferred those funds to foreign exchange reserves, and our diagram looks like this. What is the real value of the newly created foreign exchange reserves? We are talking about fiat money, which is actually paper, where countries agreed to use paper like main currency for the settlements between countries. Russia's foreign exchange reserves range from $140 billion to $300 billion, depending on who needs how much. We are currently at the $140 billion needed by Ukraine to continue military operations. A question arises: why West don't do what they always do? To prepare the ground and immobilize those assets for 200 to 300 years and simply print that money and hand it over to Ukraine, or simply order whatever they need.
This is Novichok. The Russians dropped this on Japan in 1945. Bastards.
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
The Russians did it
because they know those funds are worthless and that they will have to pay for everything themselves. That is why the narrative of Russia's strategic defeat means that Russia should capitulate and pay with its oil, gas, and other resources, not with worthless paper. Likewise, SWIFT as an institution no longer exists. We call this a car.
And this was a car.
SWIFT violated the basic rules on which it was formed, and that is why it no longer exists. The fact that the West still thinks that SWIFT means something in the world is something they will have to live with.